Next topic that we are going to take is registered unrecognized political parties. I have made 2 lectures on a similar kind of topic. I would advise that you go through those topics once. Okay? You can search by typing the keywords like registered unrecognized political parties, Tarun IAS, or political party. What are different type of political parties in India? Tarun IAS, and that then you will get some recommendations. Watch those videos as well. Why news? Because Election Commission has deleted 11 non-existent parties from the list of registered political outfits. Okay, the Election Commission on Monday ordered deletion of 111 registered unrecognized political parties that it found to be non-existent and referred 3 of the parties to Department of Revenue. Department of Revenue is under Ministry of Finance. Okay, for legal action for serious financial impropriety. We will be looking into why it has been recommended to Department of Revenue for looking into serious financial impropriety. First, what is a registered political party? What is registered unrecognized political party? What are different kind of political parties in India? And what is Election Commission? Election Commission is the constitutional body formed under Article 324. Article 324 provides Election Commission with the power of superintendence and conduct of elections in India. कौन से election? Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, President and Vice President. Okay. These elections are conducted by Election Commission. अब जो third tier of elections होते हैं, ठीक है, they are not conducted by Election Commission of India. They are conducted by state election commissions formed under 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendments Act. Okay. Now the issue is the issue prima facie is, can Election Commission of India deregister political parties? The clear answer is no. Then the question comes, if it cannot deregister a political party, how this news? How this news that Election Commission deletes 11 non-existent parties? That is why polity is very interesting and important as well. This is the main reason. Because the linguistics, the language of the constitution, the laws, parliamentary language, that is why it is very much stressed that whenever you write an answer for polity, you stress a lot upon the parliamentary language or the constitutional language. Because language forms the very important part of all this polity. Okay. Section 29A of RPA, Section 29A of RPA provides the power to ECI to register political parties, but it does not provide the power to deregister them. Okay? But it does not provide the power to deregister them. However, in the case Indian National Congress versus Institution of Social Welfare and others, Supreme Court said that Election Commission of India can review its decision to give recognition or registration to such political parties if it on the following 3 grounds. Okay. That means Election Commission of India can review its decision to give registration to some political party on the following three conditions. The first, if the registration was obtained through fraud. Second, if the disqualification arises out of violation of clause 9(1) of section 29A of RPA 1951. Very important. If the disqualification arises out of the violation of clause 9 of section 29A of Representation of People Act 1951. And if we look at the bottom, I have taken the snapshot and attached that clause. That clause is section 9, clause 9. It is from section 29A from RPA 1951 as provided by the government document. Okay? And it reads that after an association of body or body has been registered as political party in India, any change in its name, head office, office bearers, address, or in any other material matters shall be communicated to Election Commission of India without delay. Okay. That means once a political party gets registered, any change in its office bearers, its office, head office, if its office address should be instantly communicated to Election Commission of India. So what happened was Election Commission of India sent mails through post, Indian पोस्ट से इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया ने पोस्ट भेजा, पोस्टल मेल भेजा बहुत सारी पार्टीज को रजिस्टर जो है टू रिप्लाई देम if there is any change, and many of the mails were returned by the Indian Post as कि ये एड्रेस ही डिफंक्ट है, this address does not exist, the person or the political party that is registered on this address does not exist at all. तो Election Commission of India, after using this judgment, they have delisted कि this political party's address has been changed and it has not been, since it has not been informed to us, we will deregister it using this judgment, Indian National Congress versus Institute of Social Welfare and others. Okay. And the third point was, if the party has been declared as unlawful like under UAPA 1967, ठीक है, या if the party says that it cannot obey the Constitution of India, in that case also ECI can deregister a political party. Now let's look at the whole scenario as to what is the scenario of political parties in India. ठीक है, तो political parties are classified into two major parts: unrecognized political parties and recognized political parties. ठीक है, one important point is both recognized political parties and unrecognized political parties are registered. ठीक है, one have to get themselves registered with Election Commission of India to contest elections in India. If you do not register with the Election Commission of India, you cannot contest elections in India. And the second step is about recognition. ठीक है, hello. So again back to this, political parties have to get registered with Election Commission of India. They must get themselves registered with Election Commission of India to contest elections in India. Okay, but after getting registered, ठीक है, you will be contesting elections, and depending on the results of those elections, Election Commission will categorize you as a recognized, unrecognized political party or a recognized political party. ठीक है, तो unrecognized political parties are any of those parties whose performance is usually not well, so that the number of the percentage of vote share is not so that they can be recognized as a state party. ठीक है, if a party does not perform as well that it can be recognized as a state party, then it will be classified as unrecognized political party. अब state party और national party का जो classification है, that will also be based upon its electoral performance, the performance in elections. Now you can see the three major parties like BJP, TMC and Indian National Congress. These are national parties. Another example, AIADMK, All India Anna Dravid Munnetra Kadgam, is a state party in Tamil Nadu. ठीक है, तो state parties and national parties have different privileges, ठीक है, because of the different kind of recognition to them. National party and state party, they have different privileges as well. ठीक है, we'll be looking as to what privilege they get. ठीक है, privilege of recognized political parties. Recognized political parties means state parties and both national parties. अब उन दोनों में classification different है, वो we'll be looking at. Privileges like allocation of party symbol, provision of time for political broadcasts over state-owned television and radio, and access to electoral rolls. Okay. Recognized parties need only one proposer to file nomination, whereas the unrecognized parties need 10 proposers to file a nomination. Okay. National and state parties need to have can have up to 40 campaigners. ठीक है, that means national and state parties can have up to 40 star campaigners, whereas registered unrecognized parties can only have up to 20 star campaigners. ठीक है, that means the expenses of the star campaigners will not be included in their expenses, electoral expenses. ठीक है, if they use up to, for example, a national party which is either a recognized party which is either a national party or state party can use up to 40 star campaigners. Now, why we are talking about electoral expenses? Because according to Election Commission of India guidelines, okay, all political parties are required to have, whenever there are elections, all political parties are required to have a separate account to collect funds to fight that election. Okay, they are required to have a separate account in which all the electoral expenses are accounted for. Okay, and these special accounts can have like following heads like publicity, travel of candidate, on the candidates in themselves, and other miscellaneous provisions. But one important point is these expenses, the expenses of these elections should be filed with the Election Commission of India within 75 days of the commencement of the election. ठीक है, that means not commencement of the election, with the declaration of the result. ठीक है, for example कोई election start होता है, तो जैसे ही as soon as Election Commission of India announces the date of election, so what political parties have to do is they have to open separate account in the bank, ठीक है, and in that bank they will have to put all the money that they are going to spend in the elections. Okay, or they will have to maintain an account book as to how much they have spent in their election, and that election expense, as soon as the result gets announced for the election, they will have to file that election expense with Election Commission of India within 75 days of the declaration of the result, which Election Commission of India will further make available on its website. ठीक है, but the problem is there is no penalty. If a political party does not submit its election expense, there is no penalty for that. That is the major problem. Okay, and as opposed to the candidate, there is no upper limit for a political party to spend. That is also a problem. Okay, so that is why up to 40 star campaigners are allowed for national parties. That means if a national party makes expenditure up to 40 star campaigners, that is allowed. But unrecognized parties cannot have more than 20 star campaigners. Star campaigners are mostly these Bollywood actors and all these like star people who are star. ठीक है, the symbol allocated to national parties are those which can be used throughout India. State or state parties, ठीक है, and for state parties it can be used throughout the state, and for RU parties, मतलब registered unrecognized parties, every election they get new symbol, ठीक है, and they fight on that symbol, ठीक है, and that symbol are allotted from the free list. Free list means such a list which does not contain the symbols allocated to national or state parties. Now, criteria for national party. As I said, we will be looking at the differentiation between state and national parties. The first important criteria is, it is very important to remember this, okay, because it can form a question of prelims. If it secures 6% of valid votes polled in any four or more states at a general election to Lok Sabha, okay. For example, Lok Sabha का election है, and in that Lok Sabha election, if a party secures more than or at least 6% of valid votes, and those 6% of valid votes are separated over 4 or more states, ठीक है, then it can be said that it is a national party. And in addition to that, it wins 4 seats in the Lok Sabha from any state or states, ठीक है. तो यहाँ पे एक important point that we can see here, it wins 6% of votes in 4 or more states, greater than 4 states, ठीक है, in either Lok Sabha or Vidhan Sabha elections, plus it wins 4 Lok Sabha seats, ठीक है, it wins 4 seats in Lok Sabha from either one state or more than one state, ठीक है. That means for a national party, first of all, it either wins, it first of all, no either, it should win 6% of valid votes polled in a general election to Lok Sabha or राज्य विधान सभा, ठीक है, या स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली एज वी कॉल्ड इट. तो फॉर एग्जांपल यूपी में इलेक्शन है, अगर यूपी के इलेक्शन में कोई पार्टी कॉन्टेस्ट करती है एंड इट विंस 6% ऑफ द वोट्स पोल्ड, प्लस it also wins 4 Lok Sabha seats from UP itself, then it will become a national party. Second scenario, UP में election है and it wins 6% valid votes in UP and then it wins 4 Lok Sabha seats out of UP, then also it becomes a national party. That means 6% valid votes polled में उसको मिल गए, या तो लोकसभा या तो राज्यसभा के इलेक्शन में, लोकसभा या तो विधानसभा इलेक्शन में, प्लस ये 4 लोकसभा सीट्स कहीं से भी ले आए. I hope you understood this. Or wins 2% of the seats in Lok Sabha and these candidates are from 3 different states. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे you can see लोकसभा and state legislative assembly election दोनों included है. But in this case, if the party contests Lok Sabha election and it gets 2% of the valid votes polled, plus it wins 3 Lok Sabha seats also, and these 3 Lok Sabha seats are from 3 different states, ठीक है, in Lok Sabha, and these candidates are from 3 different states, ठीक है, wins 2% of seats, not votes. यहाँ पे 6% of valid votes है और यहाँ पे 2% of seats है, तो 543 seats into 2%, ठीक है, तो 5.43 around 11 seats. If it wins 11 seats and also what? These 11 seats are from 4 different states, then also it can be recognized as a national party. And it is or if both these conditions do not fulfill but it is recognized as a state party in 4 different states, then also it will be recognized as a national party. Okay, I hope you understood that. Criteria for state parties: secure 6% of valid votes polled in a state and 2 seats in that state legislative assembly. Clear? Secures 6% of valid votes polled in a state in a general election to Lok Sabha and secures 1 Lok Sabha seat. In this case, simple है कि यूपी में इलेक्शन है and if some party contests that election, it gets 6% of seats in that state legislative election, 6% of valid votes plus 2 seats, ठीक है, then it becomes the state party. और लोकसभा का इलेक्शन and इसमें they get 6% in that state, 6% of the valid votes polled in that state for in the Lok Sabha election, they get that, plus they also win 1 seat, so they will become what? The state party in that state. It secures either 3% of seats in the state legislative assembly or 3 seats in assembly, whichever is lower, whichever is greater, ठीक है. अगर किसी स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली में 200 सीट्स हैं, ठीक है, तो 200 into 3 by 100 is equal to 6 seats. तो in that case they will have to secure at least 6 seats, ठीक है, in the state legislative assembly or 3 seats, but since 6 is greater than 3, so which will be followed? 6 seats. But if some state has 50 seats only, in that case what happens is, ठीक है, okay, 1.5 seat or we can assume 2 seat at max. So in that case what happens? They will have to win at least, because 15% or 3% कितना हुआ? 2%, 2 seats है ना, and but we'll have to compare it with 3, but 3 is greater than 2 seats, so they will have to win at least 3 seats, right? If it wins 1 seat for Lok Sabha for every 25 seats in that state, ठीक है, अब ये इसका मीनिंग हुआ, फॉर एग्जाम्पल उत्तर प्रदेश has been allotted 75 Lok Sabha seats. That means the state of Uttar Pradesh, there will be the election to Lok Sabha will be conducted on 75 seats in state of Uttar Pradesh. ठीक है? And if a party wins one seat for each 25 seats, each 25 seats means इसको 25 से divide कर दो, is equal to 3. That means if a party wins 3 seats in UP, okay, if a party wins 3 seats in UP, it can become 3 seats in UP for a Lok Sabha election, it can clearly become what? A state party. Or if the party secures 8% of valid votes polled in a state in either LS or Vidhan Sabha election without winning one seat also, then also it will become a state party. So this is very important. You need to remember not for the state party, but yes, you need to remember for at least national parties. Okay. Certain provisions regarding political parties. One of the most important provision is that Section 13A of Income Tax Act. Section 13A of Income Tax Act provides 100% tax exemption to these political parties over any kind of capital gain, over any kind of like property transaction or any other source of income that the party has. They do not have to pay taxes to the government on that, but they have to file the tax returns to the government. Now, in the very beginning, as in the very beginning of this lecture, I said that Election Commission has recommended some parties to the Department of Revenue for legal action. ठीक है? Because tax collection comes under the Department of Revenue. ठीक है? So these political parties are exempt for providing and paying any kind of tax. But some parties have registered themselves as political parties. They are not even contesting elections. Their addresses are not defunct, like their addresses are defunct. They do not exist in reality. And what they are doing is they are siphoning off money, and a report says that around 1,000 crore rupees has been siphoned off in the name of political parties without actually contesting even a single election by these political parties. Okay. So they simply they just have to file an income tax return, but they do not have to pay income tax on that. Okay. So the registration of political parties is governed by RPA 1951, 29A, Section 29A, as we talked about in the very beginning. Political parties are barred from taking activity of like any commercial nature. Okay? They cannot take any activity of commercial nature. Okay? They cannot earn profits from them. But they are allowed to accept voluntary contributions, and they are also allowed to own property, or property both immovable and movable, and they can be making some earning from that. Okay? So I hope you understood this. That was all about political parties in India and what kind of political parties are there, what are the problems with them.